There's a moment in everyone's life that no one else sees. No cameras, no applause, just you, and the silence that fills the room. It's in those quiet moments that your real self appears. Not the version you post online. Not the one that impresses others. But the one that wakes up tired, fights with doubt, and still chooses to move forward. The truth is, who you are when no one's watching says everything about who you really are. When you're alone, the world stops asking things from you. There's no pressure to perform. No need to smile when you don't want to. No one's expecting results, likes, or validation. And that's when your true character steps into the light. Do you still do the work? Do you still care? Do you still hold on to your goals when there's no one around to clap for you? Because discipline, real discipline, isn't about what you do when people are watching. It's about what you do when no one cares but you. Think about it. You can't fake effort when you're alone. You can't pretend you're consistent when no one's checking. That's where integrity is built, in silence, in repetition, in the small, boring, unseen moments. The difference between the person who dreams and the person who becomes is what they do when no one's watching. Maybe you've had this feeling before, that quiet guilt when you realize you're not living up to who you said you'd be. You told yourself you'd wake up early. You told yourself you'd start that project, quit the bad habit, learn that skill. But then, no one was there to remind you. So you said, tomorrow. And tomorrow turned into weeks, then months. And now, even when you do have time, something inside you resists. That's not laziness. That's a kind of spiritual fatigue, the kind that comes from constantly breaking promises to yourself. See, when you show up for others, it's easy. You don't want to disappoint them. But when it's just you, you start negotiating. You tell yourself, I'll do it later. I'll start when I feel ready. It's not the right time. But the right time never comes, because you've trained your brain to wait for witnesses before taking action. You've forgotten how to be your own audience. Here's the truth. You don't need motivation. You need to rebuild trust with yourself. Every time you say you'll do something and don't, you lose a bit of that trust. And every time you follow through, even in the smallest way, you gain it back. It's like working out a muscle that's been asleep for years. At first, it hurts. But slowly, you remember what it feels like to believe yourself again. When no one's watching, your habits speak louder than your words. Do you reach for your phone, or your goals? Do you escape into distraction, or face the discomfort that growth requires? Because every small choice counts. Every hidden moment is either building you up or wearing you down. And here's the twist. Those invisible hours? They're the ones shaping the life everyone else will eventually see. You don't need an audience to become great. You need honesty. You need silence. You need the courage to keep going when applause turns into quiet. Because real change doesn't happen in front of people. It happens in the dark, when you're wrestling with your thoughts, doubts, and excuses. That's where you find the version of you that doesn't give up. The one who's tired but still shows up. The one who remembers why you started, even when no one else does. Maybe the reason you feel lost right now is because you've been performing instead of living. You've spent so long being what others expect, that you've forgotten how to just be. So ask yourself, if no one ever saw your progress? If you couldn't post it, share it, or prove it, would you still do it? Because if the answer is no, then maybe you're not doing it for the right reasons. The version of you that no one sees, that's the one building your future. That's the one who chooses between the easy path and the meaningful one. That's the one shaping your story. And it's time to start paying attention to them. Because that version? They're watching you. They see every excuse, every delay, every small act of courage you thought no one noticed. You are never truly alone. Because the person you're becoming is always in the room with you. When you skip the workout, they feel it. When you quit halfway, they remember it. When you keep your promise, they grow stronger. Every decision you make in private is a vote for the kind of person you'll be in public. And those votes add up. If you want to respect yourself, start small. Keep one promise today. It doesn't have to be big, just something you've been avoiding. Clean your space. Write the first page. Go for the walk you keep postponing. Not because someone's watching, but because you said you would. That's how trust is rebuilt. That's how character is forged. When no one's watching, that's when your real story begins. Not the highlight reel, but the quiet, messy, human moments that build strength. You'll never see a movie made about the mornings you got up despite wanting to quit, or the nights you stared at the ceiling, wondering if it's all worth it. But those moments, they matter. They're the invisible proof that you're becoming something more. So next time you're alone and the silence feels heavy, remember this. You're not being tested by the world. You're being shaped by it. Every choice you make when no one's watching is a message to yourself. I'm worth the effort. I'm capable. I'm becoming. You don't need validation to grow. You need consistency. You need honesty. You need the courage to show up, even when no one cares, even when no one claps, even when it feels like no one's looking. Because one day, the world will look, and they'll see the results of every invisible moment you thought didn't matter. They'll call it talent, luck, or natural ability. But you'll know the truth. It was built in silence, when no one was watching, and that's the beauty of it. You don't need to prove anything to anyone else. Just to yourself. So next time you feel invisible, remember, this is your real training ground. This is where you earn your power. This is where the future version of you is born. Not in noise, not in applause, but in silence. Because who you are when no one's watching is exactly who you'll be when everyone is.